Mr. Rufus sat outside his compound, his face twisted in frustration. He had spent everything he had to raise his sons, believing they were his future. Meanwhile, his daughters, whom he had neglected, had become wealthy and powerful. As he watched the luxurious cars pull into his compound, he felt a deep pang of regret. But could they ever forgive him? Let's find out. But before then, please like and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. Mr. Rufus sat under the mango tree in his compound, staring blankly at the gate. His heart was heavy. His hands, once strong and full of life, now trembled with regret. The air around him felt cold, even though the sun was blazing hot. The compound, once lively with laughter and chatter, was now eerily silent. His two sons, David and Joshua, had ruined their lives. David had become a drug addict, a shadow of himself, wandering the streets like a lost soul. Joshua, his once proud firstborn, was now a wanted criminal, hiding from the law after committing multiple crimes. Meanwhile, the three daughters he had abandoned had returned home, not as beggars but as successful, powerful women. He had denied them education, treated them like nothing, and now, they were the only ones standing tall. Years ago, Mr. Rufus was the kind of man who believed that women had no value beyond marriage and childbearing. He often said, training a girl in school is like pouring water into a basket. Waste of time, waste of money. His wife, Mrs. Kate, tried to reason with him. Rufus, let the girls go to school. Education is not only for boys. But he would shut her down immediately. Keep quiet, woman. Do you know more than me? Let me train my boys. They are the ones who will carry my name forward. And so, while David and Joshua attended the best schools, the girls, Vera, Linda, and Elena, were left at home to cook, clean, and take care of their brothers. Mrs. Kate wept many nights. She watched her daughters suffer and felt powerless. But she encouraged them. Don't give up, my daughters. Look for ways to learn. Your father may not believe in you, but I do. The girls listened. They found old textbooks, borrowed notes from neighbors, and taught themselves. They saved every little money they got from doing house chores for others. They worked as maids, sold fruits by the roadside, and attended night classes. They fought against all odds, determined to prove their father wrong. Meanwhile, David and Joshua were given everything. But instead of focusing on their education, they wasted their father's money. They lived recklessly, partying, drinking, and chasing women. They acted like kings while their sisters struggled like servants. Do you think I'm here to suffer? David would boast. My father is rich. I don't need school. Joshua was worse. He started stealing from people, getting involved with gangsters, and engaging in fraud. Mr. Rufus was too blind to see the disaster coming. He still believed his sons were his pride. But the truth hit him hard one day when the police stormed his house. Where is your son, Joshua? An officer demanded. What do you mean? Mr. Rufus asked, confused. Your son is wanted for armed robbery. If you don't bring him out, we will arrest you instead. Mr. Rufus stood frozen. His proud son, a thief. While their father battled with police cases, Vera, Linda, and Elena continued their silent journey to success. Vera got a scholarship to study abroad. Linda became a well-known businesswoman, and Elena built her fashion empire. Years passed, and they returned home as accomplished women. When they entered the compound, it was in grand style. Expensive cars, bodyguards, and an aura of success surrounded them. Mr. Rufus could not believe his eyes. He looked at his daughters, now dressed in elegant clothes, standing tall, radiating confidence. "Daddy, we are back," Vera said, her voice calm but firm. For the first time in his life, Mr. Rufus felt small. His throat was dry, his hands shaking. "My daughters, his voice cracked with shame. As they sat in the large living room, Mr. Rufus lowered his head. "I failed you," he admitted. "I was blinded by foolish traditions. I gave everything to my sons and ignored my daughters. And now, I am left with nothing." Linda sighed. "Daddy, you see life now. If only you had treated us well." Tears rolled down his face. "Forgive me, my children. I have learned my lesson." Mrs. Kate, who had endured years of pain, smiled proudly. "I always knew my daughters would shine. If only their father had listened earlier." She turned to her daughters. "My children, never let anyone tell you that you are less because you are women. You have proved that a girl is not a waste." David, lost in drugs, could barely recognize his sisters. He was a broken man, begging on the streets. Joshua was eventually arrested and sentenced to prison. Mr. Rufus had spent all his money trying to save his sons, but it was too late. Despite their father's mistakes, the daughters chose to forgive. They built their parents a beautiful house and made sure their mother lived in comfort. But Mr. Rufus could never escape the regret. He had wasted years following foolish beliefs, and now he was left to watch his daughters succeed while his sons had thrown away their lives. Moral lessons. Never underestimate the power of education. Girls deserve the same opportunities as boys. Hard work pays off. The daughters succeeded despite the challenges. Parents must love their children equally. Favoritism destroys families. A reckless life leads to destruction. David and Joshua's choices ruined them. It's never too late to change. But regret is painful, so learn before it's too late.
Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel.